All right, Padge, thanks to the kind folk over at Bandai Namco, we got our hands on an early hands-on Hitman 3, obviously developed by IO Interactive. So, yeah, this is their third entry into their reboot of the franchise. So it kind of follows it follows Agent 47 when he began his career, rather than when the franchise began way back on PlayStation 2 when he was already in the midst of being a hitman. So this is the early beginnings of Hitman. But the third entry of the reboot follows up on all the events that have happened prior to Hitman 3 and kind of continues on in continuity from that as well. So I know that this is your first experience playing a Hitman game
first
at
Hitman
all.
Game. Of any of them, the old, the new, hadn't played any of them up until now.
Tell me your thoughts on playing Hitman 3.
So I really like all of the design stuff that they've gone with there. Like it all just, and these are all things I think, anyone knows whether they've played the franchise or not. Like you have a really clear understanding of what they're going for there. There's kind of a sandbox within a contained space, of course, but kind of a sandbox there available to you. And within that, you've got a million ways in which you can skin a cat. You just need to take out the targets. That's what it boils down to. Find intel along the way, be resourceful or not, go all guns blazing and try and get out there if you get out of there if you can. Yeah. Which is kind of my approach in the end. It was this weird middle ground. I knew what I needed to do. I knew that I needed to play like a really stealthy sort of thing. And I've played enough stealth games to know the fundamentals of those mechanics there. But it ended up boiling down. It's just some of the little systems there. Like when it comes to a lot of stealth games, not all, but a lot of stealth games, if you get seen at some point and then you go covert for a good lengthy period of time, that's it.
Yeah.
They'll disappear and they'll get off your tail.
Yeah.
And they kind of do here as well, but they'll recognize you if you surface again and you're in the same attire.
Yeah.
So there was these little lessons I'm learning along the way, which is, okay, so I killed someone while I was wearing this, and it was a necessary kill in some cases. In others, it was, hey, you're there, room's on your own. I'll kill you and throw you into a thing. Yeah. Or I'll push you off the edge of the stair.
kills. Yeah.
Because the first mission's set in this really high, like this massive tower in Dubai. And there was a woman there standing by the side on her own. I'm like, let's see what it'll happen. Oh, it allows me to push her. Boom, over the edge. And just nothing after that, like just disappeared, which is kind of cool. I guess it's like Cloud City in Star Wars. Yeah. But so like there was a few little lessons I was learning along the hard way there, but I started to get into a bit of rhythm for things. It ended up boiling down to, okay, I've taken out this guy. I'm in this attire with the. I think we can spoil enough of it in this respect.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, spoiler warning.
The target, the second of the two targets in the first mission there, he's a suit, and he's got a few high-end security guards kind of tailing him, and I managed to take out one without getting noticed. So I swapped into his gear because that would allow. I thought, that'll allow me to get into the room because he'll think I'm one of them. But his other security guard goes, well, you're not the same, like you're wearing his gear. You're not the same guy. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. Okay. So I got busted, shot my target and then tried to find a way to get out of there as quickly as I could. Thankfully there was a guy that I'd taken out previously. His body and his attire was still laying on the ground there. So I quickly changed and managed to disappear as a result. Yeah. So what I can really appreciate is that for players who have a greater sense of the franchise and they're tuned in and they understand how it works. The fact that like you can be so meticulous and plan all these things out, like I made the end of that sound as though it was like a plan. Go in all guns blazing, take the guy out, and then just swap clothes, and boom, I've disappeared. That was a sheer accident in that particular case, and me just kind of stumbling and bumbling and hang on, let me change clothes. No one knows it's me anymore. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. But there's just so much planning that can go into this thing in advance, and you can just make yourself disappear. And the avenues to escape, the avenues that are available to you to take the targets out in the first place. Like I was watching the two targets on the map, and they're moving all over the place regularly. So there's lots of different opportunities and ways to do it. Do you want to poison them? Do you want to just come up and shoot them? Do you wait until in this room here they're separated from everyone for just 10 seconds? Am I going to wait in this room and boom, take them out? Like the options there are fantastic, and I love it. It's just not because it's not really the strength of mine. Yeah, it's just not necessarily a poor game as much as I loved what I played.
Look, I feel like because I played the entire reboot, I never really I played. I think the first one on PlayStation 2, I never really appreciated it as much as many people did. I was more into, like, in terms of espionage kind of games or stealth games, I was more into Splinter Cell, Metal Gear. So those were my kind of games. I felt like Hitman on PlayStation 2 was a little too slow for my taste. Upon the reboot that they've done here with this series, I've really come to appreciate Hitman for being more slow and steady, a concentrated type of game now where you basically have to think before you act because it could lead you into strife. Obviously, you probably died a couple of times.
Yeah, I did die a few times, but I expected that at the beginning because I was having to find my sea legs and really understand how some of these systems work. I was going in incredibly blind.
Yeah.
And had a cursory knowledge, and that was about it.
Yeah. So for me, because I had already played the first two, I pretty much knew what to expect. They haven't really changed a lot in terms of presentation, even just even the UI. The UI is exactly the same.
Yeah, don't change what's not broken.
Not broken. So it's simple. It's clean. It's clean cut. It's basically made for people who have actually played the first two and understand everything already. So there is a bit of basics to know about Hitman before you jump into Hitman 3. If anything, like they actually, when you begin the game and the menu pops up, the main menu, it actually says, have you played Hitman 1 and 2? Would you like to transfer your saves over? By the way, I want to stress that myself and Paul played on PlayStation 5. This is the PlayStation 5 version of it.
Is available on PS4 as well.
Correct, yeah. But when you begin the game, it actually shows up on the menu, hey, would you like to get Hitman 1 and 2? And if you already own 2, would you like to transfer the save? So it actually stresses, like, this is an entire story that you...
It's an arc.
Yeah, you would like to, follow, basically. Follow Agent 47's early beginnings, and up to Hitman 2 and 3. So it's really, really... I love that. I love the fact that they tied it all in together. Now, I can't go into the story too much because I'm still technically tied by embargo. But from what I can tell, that this is essentially IO wrapping up the early phase of Hitman. I don't know.
This is a trilogy, and this ends that. What do they call it? The World of Assassination or whatever.
Correct. Yeah, that's what the arc is called. Yeah. So I'm not too sure where they're going to go with Hitman after this. Whether they're going to basically retcon the entire franchise that came before it in terms of its story, and go from 3 to a 4, or what they're going to do.
No, I mean what they're doing here is basically what Crystal Dynamics has done with Tomb Raider, where the prequels have been the most recent titles, and they'll fit just in line with all the Lara Croft stuff that came afterwards, and it gives, whenever Crystal or whoever it is goes back to Tomb Raider, it gives them all the scope in the world to go, do we want to continue with this in this period in the middle here? Do we want to be...
Do you think that it's...
older, more experienced Lara? And you could do a similar sort of thing for Hitman, I'm sure.
But do you think that's... Did they really necessarily say that it was a prequel? I thought that was initially a reboot, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all just set before...
So it's before the events.
Like, okay. It's rebooting the franchise in the sense that let's rebuild the gameplay and all that sort of thing. But narrative wise, it's
linear. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's what they're doing with Hitman?
I mean, I don't know that franchise nearly as well, but it's following the same sort of pattern here. Like you've got the established franchise in the way it was, and now you've got these 3 prequel titles.
Yeah.
They're done.
Well, that's the thing. They do make note.
I don't know what the time gap is between the end of Hitman 3 and then the first Hitman.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know the story of it well enough, so I don't know if the first Hitman is then sequentially in order. Like, do they all?
Yeah. See, that's the thing too.
Follow up each other narratively, or the story bounce all over the shop?
These tie in more of the events that happened in the game prior to this series, which was Absolution.
Absolution?
Yeah. So, I don't know whether they're just going basically around in a circle and just like starting over again, or what they're going to do from here. This is like one of those things now where do they go, okay, well, let's just make another Hitman Contracts and kind of just go from there? Or do they just retcon the entire franchise again? Or do they reboot it and remake the first game? There's those questions that are up in the air from playing this. However,
they can just go Final Fantasy VII Remake, like timeline style.
Sephiroth just appears out of nowhere. But from what I did enjoy from Hitman 3, obviously what you mentioned there, there's obviously there's 5 levels in total, or 5 worlds that you can go through in total, and each of them have their own targets and everything else, much like the first one in Dubai did. And you're seeing the footage on screen right now of Dubai as well, the Dubai level. But from what I played, it's essentially the same. So if you played Hitman 1 and 2 and you love those games, you are going to absolutely love Hitman 3. Oh, and I'll make mention as well, on next-gen units, it looks stunning. Like, this is...
It's gorgeous.
You can definitely tell that the ray tracing is doing a lot of work here as well. A lot of reflections, a lot of lighting that's working as well.
I mean, that tower, like,
it was
you
beautiful.
get on the outside of it because there's a period where you're kind of skydiving in, and then even just as you're navigating it, you can get to the outside of the building if you need, and you just can't see shit because the lights are just, as you would expect, a tower that's that far in the sky. Yeah. It's reaching beyond the clouds even.
Yeah.
You just got sunlight beaming straight against that thing, and you look at it, it just blinds you.
Yeah. It's gorgeous though.
And even like internally, there's certain rooms that, it's meant to be the one-way glass, and so if you're on the wrong side of that, the way the light's kind of hitting that and then just fragmenting so that you can't actually see it, like it's really quite cool. Yeah,
it leaks right into like the lens of your perspective basically, and it's like I've just said a couple of times, it's gorgeous. And I don't know, I'm not sure how it looks on PlayStation 4, but I can only guess that the next gen version of this game really emphasizes that push for ray tracing. Graphical enhancements that have been made as well towards it, including textures, remapping for models. It just really, really shines, and I'm glad that we're getting to experience this on PlayStation 5 because the thing was, I really thought that the PlayStation 4 versions of Hitman were great, but there was always something about Agent 47's model on the PlayStation 4 that made me think, man, very base template compared to like his Absolution model. But part of me was like, obviously, that they were trying to make him look younger. I didn't think the same here. I thought that they did a marvelous job in basically everything that they did. So, looks great.
Yeah, good.
One
thing, while we're talking about kind of the visual side of things, so again, this is not a technical thing.
Yeah.
More of a stylistic thing.
Yeah.
With that, and I think a lot of people can see it anyway because the intro cutscene's actually available on the internet anyway. So if you're watching it without playing, you can go and check that out. But just the filmic style they were going for there with the text that's appearing on the screen. And and like some of the animations showing, okay, here's the mission. We're going to be inserting here and doing this and this and this. And like, oh my god, this looks like it could come from a movie.
Yeah.
It fits right in a Bond film or something like that. Like,
it really does. Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
So I really love that style that they had as well.
What did you think of using loose objects around the area as well as weaponry? I felt like, even picking up a wrench and just piffing it at somebody's head was a fantastic cinematic in its own.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that, and little things that you find a coin on the ground. Okay, well, I'll just flick the coin over here, lure this prick over here, bang, take you out, throw you in a box.
Yeah.
Take your key card, that sort of thing. No, I mean, you got to be resourceful. There's plenty of stuff to find. I wish I could find the poison. I didn't know where I was supposed to get all my poison organised so I could potentially poison a target instead. But whatever. That's the great nature of these games.
Yeah,
is that you can again skin the cat a million different ways, and
those
who are really meticulous are going to find what they need and go and do it that way.
Yeah, that freeform approach. Yeah, there is an appreciation for that freeform approach that really kind of prolongs the experience as well. Like there is that speedrunner method where you can walk in, basically guns blazing, and find your target, eliminate them, and leave if you can survive that easily. Yeah. And there are people, I've seen it done. I've seen some speedruns on Hitman 2 that are just absolutely confounding, to be completely honest. Like I was just like, man, how did these people do it? But the best method, obviously, is to go in meticulously and carefully craft or pave your your path towards eliminating your target.
Yeah. So how long did it take? And this is again my lack of knowledge of the franchise kind of shining through here, and being meticulous and all that sort of thing. The first mission, because it's the only thing I've played. You've obviously played the entire game.
Yep.
How long did it take you to wrap up that first mission, and how much did you do? Because at the end of the mission, it then it starts filling in all the things that you've done. How long roughly did it take you? Because you're talking about being meticulous and all that sort of thing.
So I did a good bulk of what you just mentioned at the end, where it shows all the objectives.
It lights up all the things that you've completed.
Yeah. The first mission took me around about 4 hours.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah. So
whereas, and here's the point of difference. Mine was done in 55 minutes.
Right. But here's the thing,
and I got next to nothing done.
Here's the thing too, because it just popped up on screen and I'm watching some footage of it right now. You can make mistakes that basically trap you. So that's obviously something that you haven't landed in, right?
I did. There was a server.
Yeah, that's where it is right now.
I went into a server room and picked the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Set the alarms off, doors closed, and they're like, hide. And so I did. And this was the bit that was weird. I guess I'd taken out a few guards near the door on my way in.
Yeah.
So the alarms are going off and no one came to the door for 5 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? Am I just trapped in here now?
Pretty
and then one little dude just kind of got, I could see a little dot on the map. He got kind of close.
Yeah.
So I took my gun out and shot at the door to make some noise. Just to go, hey, come over here and
try
and
open
kill
the door.
because I can't get out. And so I did, killed him and took off again.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's little bottlenecks. They're out to get you.
Yeah. So that
I found it later on, because I died sometime after that. And I stumbled across that server room again. I go, no, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Turn around and left.
So I did the same. I pulled it on the server and it set off the alarms, but the guy came straight away. I hid behind.
You clearly didn't kill everyone that was nearby.
So, no, exactly. So what happened though is he came into the room. He walked. So I hid behind one of the servers that were to the right of the door, and he walked in. And as he walked in, I went behind him, closed the door, choked him out, dressed up as him, and left. Nonchalantly walked out. Yep. And all these security guards are running by me and going to the server room.
Well, that was kind of the cool thing, like I was talking before, that I really only discovered at the end there through happenstance with that first mission. That I killed the final target for the mission. I was up to that point where I just needed to escape. I'm going, oh, shit, what do I do? And thankfully, there was a dead body that I'd left in a bathroom there, and his outfit was still there, so I just changed into that.
Yeah.
And disappeared and walked out, and everyone wasn't looking for me. No one was looking for me.
Yeah, so even though you've been compromised, not everybody will be sus of you, and that's a good thing too, because those are also traps in themselves as well. Because if you get spotted killing somebody, you essentially have to hide.
That one person remembers.
Yeah,
even
and then
if
they tell
everyone
everybody.
else has forgotten because they don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. Like there was, some people within that were in the same role as others.
Yeah,
and they knew about me and others didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like one person out of a group of 10. So I'm like, well, I still can't go walk through here because if that one person sees me, all 10 of them are after me.
Yeah. So
which is quite cool.
So the thing is, in every mission, the targets or target that you have to kill, there is a lead up to a specific scenario. So like you said, you can skin the cat a million ways, but the thing is, there's always that one scenario that the game tries to push. It's saying basically, this is the moment where you're supposed to kill them. Cinematically, narratively, this is the moment you're supposed to kill them. You can do it prior, you can do it after, but there is a perfect moment within the mission to basically eliminate your target. So take that into account. If you guys are playing and you don't know when or where, give it some time. It will eventuate and you will get your perfect moment to kill them.
Watch their movements.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you do get that perfect moment where nobody's around and they're right there, shoot them. But that's about it.
Choke them out, whatever. Snap their neck.
Once again, thanks to the kind folk over at Bandai Namco who supplied this copy of Hitman 3 on PlayStation 5.